Hey everybody, Real Estate Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk right now about a market forecaster. His name is Jim Bianco, and he is saying that he believes the 10-year bond is going to surge to 5.5%. That would be a big deal. It would send mortgage rates surging. Now, I have not read the story yet, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to cite the reasons why I believe you're going to see the 10-year surge, and that is because there are fewer and fewer buyers of 10-year bonds. There's, as a matter of fact, fewer and fewer buyers around the world of any of our government securities, okay? And when there are less buyers, the government has to offer higher rates, and the 10-year bond runs it really closely or in direct correlation with the mortgage rates run in correlation with the 10-year bond, okay? So let's read what he has to say about this and then talk about it a little bit. I think it's very important that people see these signs. I believe, yes, we're on a reprieve. We're in a little bit of a reprieve. I mean, the 10-year bond is pulled back, right? Because all these investors are super excited. Hey, Carlos, how you doing? Super excited to see that the Fed may lower rates, okay? But we all know that they're not lowering rates because things have turned bad. And that's the only reason they lower rates. The Fed does not like lowering rates just the heck of it. They actually like taking a lot of your money in interest, all right? I don't like that. All right, so here we go. This is out of CNBC. Market forecaster Jim Bianco sees the 10-year Treasury yield surging to 5.5%. It would be a multi-decade high. It is not a level since George W. Bush was president. Wall Street forecaster Jim Bianco is predicting the benchmark 10-year Treasury note yield will hit 5.5% this year, its highest level since May of 2001. A major part of his thesis is built on the economy's strength and resiliency. Interesting, huh? He's saying that the economy is so strong that he believes that you're going to see higher rates, that Wall Street, Main Street will have no problem with higher rates. He says, I don't think the economy is hurt by 5% interest rates. I don't think the economy is really hurt by 7%, maybe as high as 7% mortgages. The Bianco research president said on CNBC's Fast Money on Wednesday, I don't think something is broken because of these rates. Well, let's talk about that, okay? Now, you've got these people that are being interviewed by CNBC. They would never want to interview me, right? Because this is exactly what I would say. If you think that the mortgage industry and the real estate industry is not hurt by 7% mortgages, well, guess what just happened? We just watched, and right now we're in 7% mortgages. How's the health of the real estate market? Now, most people think that the health of a real estate market is based on the value of your home. That's actually 100% not true. Because if everybody in town tried to sell their house tomorrow, or let's just say this, let's just throw this out there. If inventory, because it's super low, right? There's very few homes selling. Homes are staying on the market longer. If all of a sudden inventory doubled, what do you think would happen? It's very easy. At 7+% mortgage rates, even 6.5% mortgage rates, if inventory doubled, a majority of those homes would have to lower their prices in the next 30, 60, or 90 days because they would find that even the pool of what I call the dumb money running around buying up homes right now because they're based out of fear. They're thinking, if I don't buy now, I'm never going to be able to. Those people would all of a sudden say, whoa, inventory doubled. I got more options. And they would float over there. We wouldn't see a ton of people diving into the market because people do not have the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 it takes to buy certain homes in the country, or actually a majority of homes, because of the interest rate and the inflation rate being insurance and things like that, taxes. It's a big deal. So you got these people on CNBC being interviewed and they don't take into account the big picture. As a matter of fact, Jim probably makes a crap ton of money and has a serious disconnect from reality. We see this all the time. Robert Kiyosaki is completely delusional now. He has become so delusional in his wealth that you don't get it. I'll give you another example. You've got, what is that guy, that guru that is always telling you to get out of debt? That's great. Get out of debt. And he says you should never buy a house unless you have cash. You know, that's actually impossible now. It is actually impossible for an average person making the average wage to pay the average rent, to pay cash for the average house. These people are absolutely delusional, but they're billionaires. That's why they're delusional. They don't have the same problems that you or I have. Now, I am in a different spot, right? I have made my money throughout my life, but I haven't made so much to where I went and shopped at Grocery Outlet yesterday. Why did I go to Grocery Outlet? I love Grocery Outlet. I don't know. They have great cheeses at great prices, but it's because of that. They have good prices. I'm not beneath going to stores to save money. That's what I do. I still am in that mode. But these people are making so much money, they're completely disconnected. All right, so let's move forward with his thesis and talk about this a little bit, because I think so many people don't understand, and I do agree. 10 years going to 5.5, but not because the economy is strong. It's because we've lost control of the purchasing power of our dollar and nobody's buying our debt. And we're going to offer higher rates unless the Fed monetizes our debt, and then that's going to blow up their balance sheet. That's a whole nother video. All right. So Bianco sees inflation bottoming around 3%. Let me know down below if you agree with that. And demand holding stable as catalysts for rebounding yields. He says you add the two together, you get 5.5%. He said, again, not mortgages, we're talking about a Fed funds rate. That's where I come up with the 5.5% for the yield. That's nominal GDP. The 10-year yield should approximate where nominal GDP is. Again, I want to remind Jim, if he's listening to this, I'm sure he isn't, that GDP right now is based off of a bunch of ghost factories being built because of China moving into Taiwan, and because the government's spending a ton of money on a war machine around the world. Okay, so that's the truth. That's why GDP spiked in October. All right, I believe this is a complete zombie economy. The average husband or wife, man or woman, there's only two, that sit there and work an average job cannot make ends meet right now. They're barely getting by. They're having to pick up a side hustle or doing something like that. And what's really cool about this, again, I want to highlight the positive about all this right now. When you see this complete disconnect, that's when you know there's going to be a crash, because all the so-called prophets, the so-called people in the ivory White Houses and the Wall Street, they don't see it coming. And then ironically, it's just like, Jim Cramer. That guy's still on CNBC for a reason, because there's a bunch of fools that listen to him. Think about that. Now, his latest forecast, Jim, we're talking about, includes the impact of the Federal Reserve potentially cutting interest rates 3 times this year. Well, good job. He thinks that's going to happen. Although he's probably not going to bring up the fact that the Fed has never lowered rates when things are good. But he thinks things are good. He says the Fed may be a little stickier in cutting rates. It doesn't mean they won't cut rates. It just might not be as aggressive as everyone says. I'm going to think right now Jim's wrong. Let me know down below. Ninja's got to stay under 8 minutes. See ya.